and welcome to Women's Talk Live. I am your girl, Ep6i, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host,
Sassy Scribe,
Kenda B,
and KL Boogie.
And coming up on Women's Talk Live, we have our Twitter facts, our Sassy on LSD, and obviously our KL Boogie report. I'm a little nervous, but okay. All right, y'all, we'll be back. And welcome back to Women's Talk Live. We're going to get right into our Twitter facts, which are always interesting. You never know, but
Kenda always has sex and an animal in one case or another.
Animal,
Moles.
yeah, animals, and then
Animals and sex and animals. Animals having sex in some way, shape, or form.
Oh my
Kenda
God!
does it.
Come on, guys.
Speaking of animals, gray whales only mate in threesomes.
Interesting.
It's a lot of men out here that are like,
I was going to say that sounds like humans.
Gray whales. Who would love that?
oh my God.
A sapiosexual is a person who is sexually attracted to the intelligence in others.
That's bull.
I can see, why?
I'm just cheesy.
What? There you coming out the gate.
Because they say they're attracted to the intelligence, but really, let's put it in perspective.
Right.
George Costanza is intelligent.
But
You're attracted to intelligence.
Yes.
George Costanza is intelligent.
No, he's.
well,
how is he intelligent?
I'm just
how
using it.
well
I
we
didn't
can
say
take
he
the
wasn't,
conversation, but he might
and
be
I didn't
good
say
at
he
other
was.
things if he's intellectually gifted.
All
I'm sure
I'm
he thinks
saying
outside of the
is
box.
women say
Right.
that they're attracted to the intelligence.
But are they really?
But are they?
conversation
Okay, let's
makes
do a
you
different
sexy.
one. Oh, Danny DeVito.
Okay,
Boom.
why are they all itty bitty kitty committee guys? Like, I need somebody at least could we get
Because
a
I'm trying to
threshold
put it-
of a height.
I'm trying
Could
to
we
put
get
it
a
in
tall
perspective.
guy.
And are all guys attracted to intelligent women?
No.
No.
A big butt and a smile.
And a
Okay,
thought.
And
All
a
right.
thought. They always hang in the background, the thoughts.
All right.
Just saying.
What else?
I got one. Fellas, if a girl says, it's not me, it's you, I'm sorry to tell you.
It's you.
Facts say it is you. Get it together.
Really?
Really?
But what if a guy says it's not you, it's me?
I'm
them.
sure it's probably the same
It's them.
thing. I'm sorry. Come on, a guy. It's
It's
sometimes-
somebody else.
Well, not necessarily. Maybe it is you.
A guy
A lot of
claiming it's
times,
him unless it's real.
we don't want to
Like,
hurt people's
dudes don't really
feelings
take-
sometimes, so it's cool.
Dudes don't care about
but
feelings.
Well,
All right,
here's
next.
one for all the single ladies out here. For all the single ladies out here, there is a phobia for you, and it's called anuptophobia, and it is a fear of being single forever. And I don't want to make light of it, but it's a lot of women who feel that way. And think about Jill Scott in the Why Did I Get Married? And she said she thought God had given up on her.
Yeah.
It's a lot of women that feel that way.
But that's
So
just
now get that way too.
There's an
Those
app
are
for that.
guys.
It's called anuptophobia.
there's
you
men
say there's
that
an
don't want to
app for
be
that?
single either. Come on. Don't
But you
just
know what?
say-
You won't have a man really admit it. You
They
find
won't
it,
talk
they're
about
hard
it.
pressed to admit it.
The old-
they're hard pressed to admit it.
The older
I have to
they
make that
get,
an LSD segment. It's a hard. They're hard pressed to admit it.
but the
I'm-
older
I-
they get, they.
The older they get, the more thoughts they attract because
Well,
they got
women
money.
need to stop acting
They
out
don't
of
wanna be
desperation and make people
Women
stand
are,
up.
like,
I've seen so many
thirsty.
videos of women on one knee proposing to a guy in this elaborate.
Oh, that's all over
Really?
social media
Yeah,
now.
I
That's-
see that.
That's all
I
over
see
social
that.
media. Would you propose?
Heck no. I almost cussed. I had to catch myself.
All right. So worldwide, females earn $18 trillion, but spend $28 trillion.
So we spend
I know I get some of the heavy money. So
Well, I'm glad to know it's universal.
Where's the other $10 trillion coming from? A dude?
Yeah.
yes. And you heard that from a single
spend
and a
it
married
some-
woman. So it's
Single
the
and a
collective
married
reward.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's true.
All right, I have one that makes me nervous being a
Okay.
chef. Okay, 60% of restaurants on Chef Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmare end up failing. And I watch this show religiously to make
I
sure I
love
don't
him,
make
though.
those mistakes in my restaurant.
I
And
love
it's
him.
just insane.
I think the reason why those restaurants fail though is because the people don't have that collective synergy and they're not of one mind. You want to do this and she wants to do that and I want to do this and April wants to do something else and they're not collective because he comes in because they're not of one
but
mind.
he gets them on the side. I would
They
think
be
But
so
just because
stressed
he gets
out
them on the same
Yeah,
track
that
that's
they
true.
want to get him
they
out.
revert back to type the same
Yeah.
way. I mean,
that's true.
Right.
And then if you ever see the show in the kitchens before he gets there, I wouldn't eat there either. But okay, side note.
men who prefer large breasts are less financially secure, according to studies.
Really?
Yes.
Because they focused on that big butt and a smile.
There's luck for me yet.
Well, yeah, and
Luck
it's
for me
spending
yet.
its money. It spends $28 trillion.
That's $28 trillion.
Extra.
But maybe the wealthy men that see us less than voluptuous can see all the potential, and he would like to
The intelligence.
The
Invest.
flexibility.
and invest.
You have a little flexibility.
Okay, what do
You know?
know?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Little
Okay,
flexibility.
Could we do number one?
Yes.
Okay. People see you as 20% more attractive than you think you are, according to one study.
I don't know. I see some like not
Before
really cute.
drinks
then
or
you
after
think you
drinks.
are.
Yeah, before 2 a.m. or after 2 a.m.
Right.
How does that work?
With the lights on, lights off.
You know what?
Okay.
I mean, seriously,
It's that than you
if
think
you're out
you
and
are.
it's dim and
So
it's
if you
dim in the
come
club,
out,
you
it
look
could be
really
cool.
nice.
Well, I don't know. All right, that's a side note. I got nothing.
I believe
You gotta
that.
put both.
I agree with
I
that.
got nothing.
I got nothing.
Oh my God, rumpology is a practice
Yes.
from ancient times where an individual reads a person's butt just like the palm is read. They got a lot of
There's gonna be
reading
a lot
over
of
here.
rumpologists in the streets.
There's a lot of rumpologists already running around.
See, I thank you, Ken, does so much for
That
bringing
is
these
true.
to
You
I would
have
not
big-
know
Right.
these
I know.
innocuous,
God.
inane facts if it
All right,
were not for you.
last one. A research revealed that babies born in September, October, November are more likely to live to 100. So I guess I'm off. I ain't
Yes, I'm a
praying
June
the
baby,
world.
so I guess
I'll see you
I'll.
at 2071.
All right, y'all. So when we come back, we're gonna get into our LSD report with Sassy Scribe. So don't go anywhere. We have more Women's Talk coming up next.
Welcome back to Women's Talk Live, and I am Sassy, and we're going to talk LSD with our special guest today, Miss Rhonda Brunson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, look, Rhonda, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself really quick, and then we're going to get into the meat of the topic because it's really specific to women, especially professional women.
Sure. Well, my name is Rhonda Brunson. The name of my company is Miss Brunson Credit Queen. I'm a credit specialist. I've been in business for about 7 years.
Okay. So what we found is, and a while ago, one of the mainstream networks did research on African American women and dating. And then, you know, that number came out and it said that, you know, 70% are unmarried and that they're the most uncoupled. But what they really found was that professional women who make in excess or make 6 figures or more a year are the ones that find dating the hardest because most likely you meet men who make twice or you make 2 times or 3 times more than them.
Sure.
And you're a little bit over 30, right?
Little bit.
A little bit. So to meet a man in your financial status, you would have to go old, and you don't want to go old.
No.
You can't go but so young.
True.
And have you thought about going outside
No.
of the race? So how do you meet men? with-
Meeting is not the problem.
No, how do you maintain or try to develop a relationship once they find out that you're self-sustaining and truly independent, then how do you move forward from that?
You pray. The hardest thing is trying not to judge and trying to be considerate of their financial status. Of course, when you go into a relationship, you should discuss finances. It is important. Credit, of course, is important. But it's hard to balance that out, and that's often why we are single.
So when you say to balance that out and talk about credit, we have on the set, we have 2 married ladies, then you have 2 single ladies. And although we're in relationships, at the age that we are, and we're a little bit older than you, it still becomes it still becomes a little bit of an issue of trying to meet men who aren't intimidated. And I think it's the intimidating factor
Yes.
because you're an alpha female, and there are a lot of beta males running around out here that can't necessarily handle it.
True,
So,
and I often say that ego is one hell of a drug. If people could just get
tastes
back to
good,
the,
though.
True. If people get back to the basics and just learn how to relate to one another and not bring finances so much into the relationship, things will go a lot smoother. But they are often intimidating.
it's a little hard because I always say that this is the house that Sassy built, but you have to bring a couple of bricks with you and help build it up.
Yes.
But if they don't have that, what would you suggest that the women should do to try and get over that? Because a lot of women that I know my age are more than willing to date men of other races. You know, especially men. Men are more than willing to date. Black men are more than willing to date outside of the race a lot quicker than what we are. So how do we, move forward or
That question is really difficult because you can't build a hustler. You can't put that into someone. If the guy that you're dating is not ambitious, what can you do about that but move on to someone else that is? I personally don't want to go outside of my race yet. If I get a little bit more over 30, then maybe. But right now, nah.
So is that a little bit over like 35, 38? Because women are, and if the goal is to have a family and children, you have women nowadays, and I don't want to go into the comment I made on our previous show, but you have more and more women that are getting to the point where they're getting 40 and 45 years old and thinking about having children.
I'm not one of those women. If it doesn't happen in a little bit over 30, not going to happen.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us on the show, and we definitely have to have you back. That's it for this episode of Sassy on LSD on Women's Talk Live.
Welcome back to Women's Talk Live. And in our last Twitter facts, we were talking about how much money women spend. We make 18 trillion, but
We spend
28 trillion. Where are the other 10s coming from?
Tiger Woods.
Oh, did you just say that? Did you just say that? But joining us to join into our conversation about women and their businesses and their finances is Angela Starkey, and she is also a financial advisor. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Angela Starkey. I'm a financial coach and I also do lifestyle management. I work with individuals as a personal assistant, and I wound up getting into financial advising because you have to be able to talk to people with, businesses about finances. So, so that's what I wound up doing and studying. So now I find myself that I'm actually helping families in Middle America educate them about financial concepts that they can use in their everyday life for the future. Because that's really what it's really about. It's about, planning for the future now, so you won't have to go back to work when you're 65. Like as when you go to, Walmart, you see grandmoms on Christmas Eve at, greeting you. So we actually sit down with our clients and, and show them a path to financial success and freedom. So that's what we do.
But what I notice, and I know exactly what you're saying, I have a lot of uncles and aunts who have retired, but they said if they sat home, they would get old. And they didn't want to get old.
Right.
And that's why they went back to work. My uncle works like...
Mom does that.
Yeah.
She works one day a week because she doesn't want to lose her
No, he
skin.
works 5 days a week,
Okay.
but it's like maybe 30 hours or something, but he doesn't want to sit in the house by himself because my aunt's deceased. And he just doesn't want to stay at home. And it gets him out, it gets his mind, keeping his mind active and just interacting with people.
Well, in that case, that's a different scenario. But you know what? We have a lot of older people that have pensions and, on SSI accounts, but they don't have that luxury to sit home or have that option. They have to go back to work. But if somebody was to sit down with them when they were in their 25 or, 30s and said, you know what, this is the plan that you need because you're going to need more money when you retire to live off. Every year we go up 3% in inflation. And so you wonder why that $50,000 that you have now is not going to be the same $50,000 10 10 years from now, right? Say just for instance, you have about, you're comfortable making about $3,500 a month, but that same $3,500 a month will not be $3,500 a month. It'll be $6,000.
Right.
The value.
And
30
the
years from
salaries
now.
are remaining stagnant as inflation goes up.
Right. So when I'm in the shoe store and I see those cute pair of shoes, I need to
can only
think,
get one
okay,
pair.
do I need those shoes? Or
And you
I
know,
have a question. I'm sorry. Now, there are a lot of people that are separating.
Right.
And I've heard that it is cheaper to keep her. However, some men cannot. How can couples manage their finances and that debt after they divorce? Because there's a lot of people that I know that are juggling bills, and it's hard.
Well, see, that's the thing. We always fail to plan. We got to really plan first before we get to the problems. So if you had somebody that was to sit down with you and educate you on the things that you need to do now, you wouldn't have to worry about those problems. You'll be prepared for them. So you notice that a lot of families are going through hardships because it's really about finances.
Right.
And if you ever notice also, dreams and goals are always powered by finances as well.
Right.
So if we can fix those little things in the beginning by setting in the foundation first, which is basically making sure your income is protected, meaning that you have life insurance to protect your income just in case one of the spouses passes away, and then also have a will in place, and then from the will you have your emergency savings, your short-term savings, and then also plan for retirement. See, that's the thing, people only have less than $500 left in their savings monthly. So you think about it, if you only have $500 in savings a month,
and something happens,
now what are you using? Credit cards. So credit cards go out of debt. What happens? People are found in bankruptcy.
it's kind of hard these days.
But what do people do? It is really hard because the salaries have remained stagnant, but the wages, or should I say the expenses, have just grown exponentially. Rent used to be maybe a nice one bedroom back in the day, and I say back in the day when you could get a nice, even a one bedroom was maybe $400 or $500. Now one bedroom is $1,100. I want to walk around $1,100. You know what I mean? I don't want to have people on the sides of me.
Well, see, that's the thing also too. You have to have more eggs in more than one basket. So that means you have to have like your IRAs and your mutual funds, building, equity and assets, so then you can draw from that when you need it.
Hey, listen, we could go on and on about this all day long about finances, but don't go anywhere because Women's Talk Live will be back right after this.
Welcome back to Women's Talk Live. This is Ep6i with the Ep6i Report, where we always look to educate to elevate. This afternoon, I have with me Dr. Margot Burke of Dr. Margot Burke and Associates at the Milestone Psychology and Wellness in Ardmore, PA. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself before we dig into what we're going to be talking about today. So go ahead, please.
Thank you for having me. Dr. Margot Burke, I'm a child psychologist, and I work specifically with children and families around issues that would naturally arise for them. So sometimes things that would be stressors in their life that families might be going through, divorce or blended families, and then also things that come up for kids naturally, I think, in our culture now can be harder than it was previously. And so I'll do some parent coaching and some individual therapy for children that way.
Okay, so I take it you have to be pretty up to date on what's hot in the realm of children and what their immediate needs are going to be. In terms of social media and the onset of that, how do you handle that being a lot different than it was, say, 10 years ago?
Absolutely. So I think a lot of that has to do with the parent coaching that I would do for parents and talking with them about setting limits and boundaries around how kids are using social media and just ways to keep them safe. So one of the things that I'm always working on is how do we keep our kids safe? So whether that's through social media or whether that's within the community or in schools or even at home. and helping parents to navigate that balance of letting kids take that step forward themselves and be free and have some of their own kinds of things going on, but at the same time maintaining that safety.
Okay. So now, given the current state of affairs around the world per se, in terms of what kids are bombarded with, we have a lot of protests that are really grassroots driven. A lot of them are youth driven, such as what we've had in Baltimore, Ferguson, Missouri, so on and so forth. And we find that a lot of these kids are dealing with a lot of traumatic issues that they're really not able to speak on or to really express creatively, constructively, what they're feeling. So how do you go about handling those issues and helping children deal with post-traumatic stress?
Absolutely. So one of the things I always talk about when I have intakes with new families and new children is I do specifically ask about exposure that could lead to post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. And one of the things I ask about is not necessarily what has just specifically happened to children, but what they've witnessed. Because oftentimes witnessing things can be just as traumatic as something specifically happening for you. And what the research really shows is the earlier you intervene from when that specific stress happened, the better the outcome. So that if children have a specific stressor and something that's overwhelmed them, which is part of what PTSD is, which is it's so overwhelming that there's a fear of basically your life. And so the earlier that happens from that stressful point with intervention, the better off kids can be. This is true of grown-ups too. Okay. But the better off that they would be. So I really do, it's important to ask about those questions.
Okay. And my last part would be and we're going to have a question from our esteemed panel. Yes, ma'am. Miss April J.
Well, a lot of children are in families where it's just the mom, the dad may not be there. So, or, parents, like you said, divorce or separate, whatever. What are some of the things that parents should look for when their child is maybe feeling like a little stressed, or what are some of the things that the parents can do to try to help guide that child?
Specific to the post-traumatic stress piece. So one of the things you're going to look at is that kids and adults often replay the event over again. So young kids, you might see it in their play where they actually play out the event. Older kids, you might see it where they talk very specifically about it sort of over and over again and during times that might not make sense. So you would look for that. You would look for nightmares, that sometimes things will come up when kids are sleeping. And you would look for whether the thoughts that the kids are having about those particular events are intrusive and getting in their way. So is it getting in the way of friendships? Is it getting in the way of school? Is it getting in the way of other relationships? And that would be a good indicator that it was time for professional help to work through those specific things.
So, last question. Us being Women's Talk Live, we do have an affinity for female. And we notice a lot now about the whole shaming and body image issues. People are taking offense with even the mannequins that stores are using now to display a real feminine form. In terms of our young women and our girls, how do we strengthen their ability to really be self-contained and have self-esteem in an environment that's really not geared towards letting them be happy with who they are, so to speak?
Sure. I think self-esteem, can start very early, and one of the things that we want to talk with kids about a lot is hard work. We want them to develop persistence and grit. And those are the kinds of things that build resiliency. And so can they be persistent through not just things about their body image, but other things as well. So that we don't want to be labeling kids smart or pretty. We want to be talking with them about how hard they've just worked and what a great accomplishment they've had. And even though it took them a long time to do that they were able to do it and build up their self-esteem and confidence that way. And then it should help through all of those things, including body image.
Oh, well, great. See, it's so many things else that I would really love to ask you. We're going to have you back. But what I do want you to do is just tell our viewers where they can reach you, a little bit more about your practice and how to contact you and what you have on the horizon.
Great. So I'm the owner and director of Milestone Psychology and Wellness, Dr. Margot Burke, and I'm out of Ardmore, Pennsylvania. You can find us on the web at milestonepsychologyandwellness.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at that same place. And you can reach out via email or a phone call.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming. It's been enlightening. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.
and welcome back to Women's Talk Live. Oh my gosh, we had such an interesting show today.
Great show. Great
awesome.
yesterday.
Yes.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back.
Okay.
Yeah. I can reach from there. You go. I got it from here.
So we want to thank all of our guests. Our last guest was Angela Starkey,
Dr.
Margot
Burke, and Rhonda Brunson, Miss B Credit Queen.
Awesome.
and also we want to thank DeJour because she helped us kind of.
Runway J'adore.
Yes, thank you.
She was integral in making sure that April J and Kenda B looked their best
She
today.
was awesome.
She was
Awesome.
absolutely
We
amazing.
Check her out.
Check her out, Security Mall, Baltimore.
Right. And listen.
And tell her Women's Talk sent you.
Yes, the Women's Talk
Yes.
sent you.
Good discount, honey.
And listen, guys, as always, we always try to cater to the woman and their lifestyle because at the end of the day, women, we have a lot of hats. We wear a lot of hats. We are mothers, wives,
Running the
business
world.
owners, financial. We do it all. Okay, so for this show, we always try to cater to those women. Not to say that we're leaving the guys out, because I think you can learn something from us too. All right. As
definitely
always,
agree with that.
yes, really. As you know, I saw
could
something.
say something, but I'm gonna let it go.
Right. I did see something earlier on a show where it was saying that in Congress, the women Republicans and the women who are Democrats are more likely to compromise than their male counterparts.
Yes, they are.
And it was an eye opener for me because it was like, okay, we as women really know how to do our thing, and we just want to get it done. We're not wondering about whose is bigger.
Yeah.
Thank
All we
goodness.
want to do is get it done, okay? So I hope that the men in Congress take a page out of the women in Congress and just get it together. All right? So make sure you join us next time on Women's Talk Live. I'm your girl, April J.
Sassy Scribe.
Kenda B.
And KL Boogie.
We'll see y'all next time.